Our first speakers of the day are Chinook Young and David Young from Seaturtle, and they're located in Greenville, North Carolina. They will be presenting on individual projects surrounding their work in environmentalism. Chinook will be presenting about environmental drowners and the plastic pollution crisis. Afterward, David will spend 15 minutes telling us about plastic-free North Carolina. Any questions? And also, before you guys begin, they were at Seaturtle. They did a phenomenal job at the National Service Learning Conference while we were in Minnesota. We had the pleasure of bonding with them, the YAC members, the Youth Advisory Council members. We had the pleasure of bonding with them over the course of a week. We had a great basketball game and everything. So yes, the floor is you guys.
Yeah, looking back on that was really exciting. But today, hey everyone, my name is Seaturtle, and today I'm going to talk about the environmental droners. Next slide, please. So first, let me introduce myself. I'm a ninth grader, or now like a rising sophomore. And at school, I go to Episcopal High School. I play basketball, I row, and I'm the captain for my tennis team. So growing up in Greenville, North Carolina, I have actually experienced and seen the increasing amount of plastic pollution in our rivers. And because of that, I have been inspired to create the environmental droners and co-found it with my partner. Next slide, please. So what is the environmental droners? It is a youth-led initiative that aims to reduce the amount of single-use plastics in our environment by implementing technology such as drones. So with the drones, we film highly polluted areas in our community, and with the footage we get, we post it on social media, present to the city council, present to other youth organizations, and also East Carolina organizations from East Carolina. And our overall goal is trying to raise awareness about the community, the problems in our communities. Next slide, please. So how do we start? So first, Kian and I first started this, and we got mentorship from Seaturtle, from David Yoon and Dan Zokolovic. And because of their experience, we were able to move quickly and fast and effectively. So first, we applied for many grants, and then we applied to the Earth Echo grant, Earth Echo Challenge, where we placed top 10 in the nation. And we also received the People's Choice Awards. And we also received the Group Tech grant for $500, and we also got additional funding from Seaturtle. And now, after all these funding and grants, we had a total of $800, and then we bought a drone. Next slide, please. So with the drone, we have hosted many cleanups. We've partnered with many organizations at East Carolina University and other youth organizations as well. And as you can see, every single one of these pictures was actually taken with the drone. And with all this information, with all these cleanups, we will actually present to the city council and try to get some action done. Next slide, please. So this was our biggest thing that we've done so far in the last 2 months. So we partnered with scientists at East Carolina University's Water Resource Center. And through there, we have created an app for a solution for pollution. Now, this is a collaborative solution to global pollution. And how it works is when you see trash in the streets or waterways or anywhere, you can just take a picture, go to our app, submit it, and then it's going to be downloaded into our map. So any user that has our app can just go and see where other people have documented litter. And then people like organizations, cleanup organizations, or just people who want to pick up trash can go to our app and then find trash up spots, and they can go and clean it up, host cleanup events. And our app is basically designed to help properly document instances of litter. And that's our main goal right now. And currently, we're just trying to raise awareness about it because we really think it will be the solution. Next slide, please. So what have we done after the action? So first, we actually attended, like Caleb said, we went to the NYLC Service Learning Conference. And there we presented about our initiative. But more importantly, we learn from other people, and that's what I really want to emphasize on, because throughout our initiative, we wouldn't have been able to achieve what we have achieved if we hadn't had our mentors, if we didn't listen to other people, if we didn't learn. And being able to go to a conference and being able to learn from other people has really helped us. And we're still in contact with organizations we saw there. So it was really a great experience. And we have also applied for a few grants, and one example is like the Power of Youth grant, where we recently just got $300. So we will buy stickers and flyers and banners to raise awareness about our app, so we can go to like local organizations. And our biggest thing coming up within the next month is going to the city council and presenting our app, telling them about our initiative and the problems in our community, so that we can really create effective action. And the most recent, what's coming up is a plastic free event on July 18th that we partnered with Love a Seaturtle and Metallics. And our goal here is to not only have like a good cleanup and a good event, but also raise awareness about the trash issues in our environment. And the mayor will also be there. So we're just going to try our best to do what we can do. Next slide, please. So these are the three lessons I've learned, and three like qualities that I really think should like be in everyone's story. And it's dedication, commitment, and passion. But because the thing is, everything is possible. Well, almost everything is possible through hard work. And everything I just showed you in the presentation was all done within a less than a year. So like even like the app cleanups and everything was done less than a year. And my point is, if you just work hard and if you're committed, then you can do whatever you can. Next slide, please. And these are just some socials, our Instagram, YouTube, and email. So you guys have any questions, you want to meet up, you want to have a Zoom meeting or anything, just let us know. And now I'm going to pass it on to my mentor and the director for Plastic Free NC, David Yoon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David Yoon. Thank you, Sunny, for the introduction. And I know we've been talking about Plastic Free NC, but what really is Plastic Free NC? Well, it's an umbrella organization that I started when I was in 8th grade that is dedicated to collecting and raising awareness about the single-use plastic crisis around North Carolina, hence the name Plastic Free NC. However, in maybe 10th grade or 9th grade, I had an epiphany. I was sitting in my chair right where I am right now, and I was beginning to realize that single-use plastic items are a big part of environmental concern, but there's so much more that a community and a leader could do to help out. And so I began stretching this idea of this umbrella organization and began dedicating it to uniting and empowering youth leaders to increase global efforts tackling both environmental and social issues. So yes, we do focus on plastic-free issues and the single-use plastic pollution crisis, but we also look at social issues. We look at equity, equality, diversity, and also injustices. And we focus on these by fighting on multiple fronts. Now, when I first started in my umbrella organization, it began as a very simple sticker campaign. We called it Skip the Straw and Plastic Free NC stickers. What we would do is go to community, local businesses, restaurants, and approach them, ask to see their manager or owner, and discuss with them. These are the reasons why being plastic free is a good thing. Here are the benefits. Here are what we can bring to the community, and here are how we can help you. This was a way we could lead educational outreach via community stickers, community outreach, and we did a lot of fun things like flash mobs at the university. We had a sustainability film that we showed in 2019 that almost had 2,000 people attend worldwide. We had bottle giveaways, reusable bag events, public presentations at local city council meetings, and environmental rallies. And this was all done, as Sanuk said, in the span of 1 year before COVID-19. Now, COVID-19 took its toll on everyone, regardless of who you are, what your background is. It affected you somehow. For me, it almost put a halt on the organization. We were a very face-to-face organization. We would go to people, businesses, like I mentioned, and approach them face on. But with COVID-19, no one wanted to do that. No one wanted to take on, being face-to-face. It was a time of fear and isolation that almost slowed us down, but we overcame this by going virtual. And you might be wondering, how does an organization go virtual? Well, like Sunny mentioned, the environmental droners were one of our virtual programs. We started off by brainstorming an idea of how we can have an impact through distance. The drones provided distance. They didn't require you to be super close with other people. You were able to fly them up, and that idea brewed innovation. Now, to give a little background information about me, I've been in the student advisory board member of Love a Seaturtle for maybe 5 years. And Love a Seaturtle is a community organization that's dedicated and focuses on outdoor STEM environmental activities. It's led, engaged, and mentored over 2,500 underserved youth. And we've done so many cool things just in our community alone and also globally and internationally. I also serve on the Earth Echo Youth International Council. I've been a member for almost a year now, going on to my second year. I'm the president, North Carolina State President of FBLA, which is Future Business Leaders of America, and I mentor, assist, and am the principal investigator of 17 different initiatives within Plastic Free NC and Love a Sea Turtle. Now, you might be wondering, how did this all start? How did I come up with these ideas, or is there any way that I could help you, the audience, begin their own journey? Well, my biggest thing is that environmentalism or action doesn't have to come with age. A lot of the people that I actually met were talking to me saying, hey, you can't, what can you do as a 14-year-old kid who is just going out of middle school? What do you know about environmentalism? What do you know about activism? And all I could say was, I don't know. I'm beginning my journey. I'm starting my path. And for you to define me through my age rather than my action and impact is ignorant. It's something that shouldn't be done and wouldn't be done. And over time, I proved to those people that age isn't something that really defines you unless you let it. I started by reaching out to Love a Sea Turtle. I was fortunate enough to reach out to conferences like this. And if we look around this audience right now, we are the networking. We are the people that you can reach out to. And doing things like this is your first step to becoming a leader. Now, the inspiration that came from me was that I am located in Greenville, North Carolina. We are home to the Tar and Neuse River Basin, which means that we are the last stop before everything flows to the ocean. And so if we have a really bad storm, if we have a hurricane, and you go outside and you go to the Tar River, you see all this trash flowing down to you. You see trash bags in the trees, you see straws littering the gutters, and it's honestly devastating. It's horrific how one small town located in a very small area of the state has gotten so much trash just from other places. I was looking at this, and for a person who has grown up with nature, I loved fishing, I loved going to the mountains, I loved hiking, I loved everything that had to do with outside and activities outside. It tore my heart. I knew that I couldn't stand it. It was a passion of mine to protect the environment, and thus my journey began. That passion of mine is unique to me. It's unique to Sunny. He had a passion of technology and environmentalism, so he began his environmental droners journey. But to you, you might have a completely different passion. You could be passionate about music. You could be passionate about cooking. You could be passionate about all these other things. But your passion is what is going to fuel you and take you to the next level of being a leader. Your impact is something that can be small. Whatever you do is an impact. What you're standing here in this room right now, in this Zoom meeting right now, is impact. You're networking, you're collaborating with innovative, like-minded youth leaders. That is impact. And being a leader does not define you in a box. Never let anyone tell you what a leader is, because you are your own definition of a leader. When I was first starting out, one of the greatest things that anyone ever told me, or one of the best quotes I ever saw, was that an individual can only go so far, but together we can go further than the moon. We can go distances that can never be imagined. And right now in the Zoom meeting, when I look at everyone in this room, we have 68 people. Imagine a room, just one small room, maybe a classroom filled with 68 students. 68 innovative, like-minded minds, 68 people who were ready to make a change, who wanted to be progressive, who wanted to learn. That is a lot of people. You probably wouldn't even have space to move your arms. So doing things like this is the first step. It is you already being a leader. And in a few minutes, we're going to have a room for questions. We're going to have time for you to interact with other youth. And I invite you, I welcome you, and I even ask you to talk, ask questions, come out of your comfort zone to become a leader. Because all of this innovation, all these stories that you will be hearing today, we didn't start off doing all these cool things. You know, we didn't wake up one day and we weren't like, oh my God, I have it figured out. I know how to do this and this and this. I'm ready. I can take on the next challenge. I'm good to go. We're just starting out, just like you were, or maybe if you need advice, just how you were heating. All of this stuff, utilize your technology, utilize your resources, and make sure that you emphasize that who you are is what you will be doing. And that might be a little confusing at first, but your identity will help shape your own path of leadership and impact. And once you figure that out, you'll be good to go. Now, the very last thing that I want to talk about is awareness. Now, I originally focused a lot about awareness. I was really passionate about, you know, focusing on how can I raise awareness about single-use plastic items. But over time, like I mentioned, I began realizing that awareness is critical to anything that you do, but also what is critical is a collaborative effort. Now, one of the initiatives that I really like to talk about is the Floating Island Project. It was a youth-led initiative that focused on repurposing and utilizing recycled materials to construct floating islands, serving as natural filtration systems and habits for local species. And we garnered about $3,200 in grant funds at the 2018 Points of Light Leadership Conference. And through this money, we were able to install 3 floating islands at a local park. And we assisted with collecting and repurposing 15,000 plastic bottles from just one local high school. Now, I didn't do this alone. I did this with the help of about 150 other high school students, middle school students, elementary students, community leaders. This one project that we were able to push out has such a big impact that now people around North Carolina are doing this. People in their own homes who have their own ponds, maybe they even have a backyard, little garden. They're spreading this out. They're doing it at their home. So don't be afraid to take that first step of action and be that leader. That's all I have to say for you guys today. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. So I already see one. Sanuk and I will be answering questions. And to go right away into it, I see Miss Hannah was asking, are there any other concerns that affect the turtles other than plastics? Oh yeah, for sure. So we all know, just a show of hands, if we could have Bella, could you put us to where I could see everyone on the screen? Thank you. Just as a show of hands, did anyone ever see that really viral video about that turtle with the straw up his nose? Maybe like 3 years ago. It was a really very, very sad. It was gruesome. There was blood. The turtle could barely breathe. It was dying. It was choking out. That is a main concern, but we also have to know that oil spills are choking out not only turtles, but all these other different kinds of animals and turtles. Oil spills are a huge one. Overfishing is also a really important one. We see a lot of people going out, and when you cast a line, I don't know if anyone has fished before, but when you cast a line and sometimes you may catch a turtle, not a fish or even a shark, that line can get hooked into their mouth. They can eat that bait. And oh, sorry, I just saw the I just saw the slideshow. But that bait could get hooked into the mouth, and fishermen don't bother to take it out. They just cut it. It's too much work. Turtles are heavy. They don't bother to reel in their line. They don't bother to take it out. They cut it. Not only is that littering that permanently harms and damages fish and turtles, turtles can't properly function. They pass on those harming genes to next generation, and eventually they kill off that species or that generation of turtles because they can't eat, they can't reproduce, they can't survive. Yeah, and I definitely agree that oil spills in South Texas has been especially bad past few years. Also, sonic booms are a really interesting thing that harm a lot of animals. It's a way for people to find oil, dig for oil. It's really bad in North Carolina because it's in the coast, but it's basically, in very simple terms, ships go out, they send out a really loud sound to the ocean floor, it bounces back, and when that bounce back, it goes through animals, ecosystems, and it damages all of these different kinds of animals and habitats. And eventually, people are doing it for the cause of money and oil. We look around and we see oil prices at like what, 4.95 where I live right now. But the sonic boom harms so much more, and the negatives outweigh the positives. Nothing is worth risking our own one and only unique Earth for money. I think sacrificing our Earth that we live on, that we need, that we sustain ourselves on for material monetary value is one of the most selfish things that someone could do. Um, what is the most single-use plastic item? Yeah, so it's actually really hard to pinpoint one single-use plastic item, but for my community, the biggest single-use plastic items are actually plastic trash bags. So plastic trash bags were such a big issue that they were in the waterways, they were clogging gutters, they were forcing people to go out and take down trash bags from the trees, and it was unbelievable. It was almost disrespectful to actually, it was almost rare to go outside and not see a trash bag because that's how much they were being overused. We went to different stores, we went to the city council, we begged, we pleaded, we tried to take on aggressive route. We tried to do everything, but people are afraid of the word ban. That's what we found out. And so we started going to the word reuse or reduce. So once we started going to reduce and reuse, it became a more friendly conversation. We were able to convince a lot of different organizations and stores like Aldi, Sam's Club to take on a more friendly approach and reuse and sacrifice plastic bags into reusable bags. So just for my community, plastic bags are the most used single-use plastic item that poses the biggest threat. Sunny, I see that Clem asked a question about littering happening in South Carolina. Do you want to discuss how activism or your trash app could help reduce that?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, we all face the same problems of pollution and littering. And something that I found useful is just you can't really pick up every single trash bag or every single like trash in your community, but you have to raise awareness about it and you have to work together as a community to do that. So what I would do is to either, like picking up trash is also like really helpful, but in order to create like really big and effective solutions, you should reach out to your community, reach out to your city council, reach out to like social media, and just reach out to other people that could help you solve this. And for me, the easiest way has been to take pictures, post them on social media, get other organizations to clean it up, post cleanups and stuff like that. But also, um, you could also use our app. You could take a picture of the trash, submit it on our app, and the people from your community could go to the app, see where you found the trash, and then they could go clean it up. And I hope that answered the question. But I also see another question. If you don't have a drone, how can you still help? You can definitely still do it with your phone, or you could just take pictures. But also, like I said, you can just try to reach out to other people and get your community involved, such as like, and try to like host cleanups too, if that's possible. But yeah, you could use your phone or anything you can take a picture of, you can post it on social media and just raise awareness about it.
And I see that we have a lot of questions coming in. So I'm gonna kind of go through very briefly and then explain on ones longer. If there's a specific question that you want more details on, feel free to ask about it. So how long have we been passionate about saving our sea turtles? I've been volunteering with Love a Sea Turtle for 4 to 5 years. Sunny, I believe this is gonna be your third or second year. Yep. And then have we saved any sea animals affected by the environmental pollution personally? We used to go out to oceans and save sea turtles and protect sea turtles, but like I mentioned before, we began expanding our reach and began fighting on multiple fronts rather than, going out and saving those animals one-on-one. So we try to save sea turtles by activism and impact, but we still go out and have beach cleanups where we see sea turtles hatch at night, and they're not in season right now, but we do protect them, guide them to the waters, and do a lot of cool stuff like that. And I think this is a question that Sanuk and I can both answer. What kind of barriers did we experience in being a leader or taking action? For me, the barrier that I had to overcome was people telling me that I was too young to start, that no one would listen to a 14-year-old kid. And I overcame this by telling them to wait. It sounds really stupid because how can me telling them to wait make any impact, or how can I overcome it? How does that overcome anything? But in actuality, me telling them to wait, to give me 1 year, just 1 year, set a goal for myself and told them to come back and check on me. And when they would come back to me in a year, they'd see that, oh my God, he's had an impact in his community. They'd be inspired to join. So not only would they be proven wrong, they would come and join the cause. And so to overcome a barrier of someone telling you that you cannot, set a goal for yourself. Something that you know that is something that you are passionate about, that you want to do, that you want to make, but is also a challenge, something that will push you to be the best of yourself. Sunny, do you want to talk about a barrier that you had?
Yeah, so it's kind of similar to you because what my initiative did was reach out to other people, tell them what to do, try to like like advocate other people to pick up trash. And like their first thought is, why would I listen to this 14-year-old? Because I would do the same too. But the thing is, you have to realize that we're all living in the same world and we're all worried about the same problems. So anyone who's out there to help is already better than someone who's just telling someone that you can't do it. So for that, like everyone who's here, just know that like you're going to face obstacles along the way, but just know that if you're doing something right, then don't stop doing it just because of other people. Just keep going on. And even though I'm just like 14, I started at 14, like I've done so much stuff that I could have like never imagined. So just keep pushing and I know you can do it. So just try to keep going.
Very well said, Sunny. I definitely agree with everything you just said. And Sunny, I see we also have a question to you that is asking what inspired you or what gave you the motivation to make your app?
Oh yeah, so basically my initiative is focused on technology and the environment. So we just thought to ourselves, but we also want to raise awareness and involve the community. So we thought to ourselves, what can we do to involve the community, but also implement technology? So we decided to create an app. And it's like a kind of a coincidence because ECU also kind of reached out to us at about the same time saying, hey, we have the resources to create an app. Do you guys want to partner together? So we obviously took the opportunity and then we just try to think, how are we going to get other people to really use our app and how are we going to get other people to be a solution to the problems of pollution? So that's what really like motivated me. And that was like the idea that sparked me to create the app.
Thank you. And I see we also have a question about going to talk with businesses. So did you have to overcome the fear of coming out of your front comfort zone? If so, do you have any possible advice on how to do so? Oh, yeah, for sure. So when I first started off in 8th grade, I was terrible at public speaking. My hands would shake. I could not talk with new people. I did not know how to talk with new people. And it it was so bad at public speaking that every time that I was asked to speak at even like a small place like my church, I would freak out. I'd have to like take a 10-minute breather. I would go really fast. I'd barely talk about anything and I just rush through, try to get over it and just sit quietly. And no one could hear me at all. And I definitely did have to come out of my comfort zone. That was also one of the hardest challenges that I had to go through. But the way I was able to do this was I pretended like I was an actor. Um, when I was very little, my sister would always do karaoke with me, and she would make me reenact Disney movies with her, like Disney movie scenes with her. And I remember that feeling of faking, being a Disney character or being an actor. And every time I'd go out to speak, I would put on that persona of I am acting as the greatest public speaker in the world. I am acting as the bravest person in the world, or I'm acting as someone who will not be rattled by the fear of going out of my comfort zone. So I was able to put on that act. And of course, putting on that act itself was a struggle, but I, it's actually a really funny story. I would practice, I'd print out speeches of John F. Kennedy, Barack Obama. I'd print out speeches of who I thought was inspirational. And at night, when no one could hear me, or when my parents and my sister would go out of their house to go wherever, and my sister would hang out with friends, I'd be alone. I'd practice in my room, put on a really loud voice, make it super exaggerated. I'd pretend like I was, giving out a speech to millions of people, like I was an actor, exactly like an actor. And I faked it. I practiced that speech until I knew it from the back of my head. I probably could actually recite John F. Kennedy's "Going to the Moon" speech right now. And it was such a pivotal point for me because that practice made perfect. It didn't make obviously 1000% perfect, but it gave me the opportunity and it gave me the self-confidence to be and go out of my comfort zone. I hope that answered your question. Um, did we have any obstacles in any of our projects like storms or people refusing to listen other than the people at stores? Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm sure Sana can agree with this too, but there are people who just completely disagree with what you're doing. There are people who don't want to hear your opinion. There are people who think that you're spewing nonsense, that may even threaten you, that may tell you that what you're doing is literally unimportant, useless, stupid. You're wasting your time. And we faced so many of these people actually that one time we held a meeting. We asked everyone who wanted to debate about this topic to come to the town commons on a Saturday night. I think this was September 18th of 2009 or 2019, sorry, World Water Day. This was actually when we were doing the film screening, and they would come to our table, they'd question us, they'd be like, why do you think this is even important? And there was a lot of negative comments that we were getting, but when we sat down with them, when we talked to them face to face, explained to them our cause, and we asked them, what do you gain from stopping us? How are we harming you? How are we stopping you from being happy by trying to progress our own initiative, plan, or preventing trashing our earth? They stopped. They couldn't answer it. And the only reason that I found out, and I'm sure Sanat can actually agree with this too, is that people don't like that you're doing something good, not because they hate what you're doing, but because they're jealous that they didn't have the opportunity to make that impact. And you'd be actually very surprised on how many people were like, oh, we disagree with you. We don't want you doing this. But when we sat down with them, when we invited them to join us on our journey, they began to say, okay, this sounds interesting. Okay, this is something that would be really cool that maybe I would be passionate about. So even if you are facing people that are trying to hate you, that are trying to beat you down, try to be kind to them, welcome them, involve them. And if they don't want to be involved, that's fine. At least you reached out to one person. At least you were able to try. You tried your best, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. And what are our future plans for our career with the project? So I am currently going to be a senior. That means I have to create a sustainability plan. I've been mentoring youth leaders like Sanuk, Kian, and about 27 candidates. And one of those candidates will either sustain my plastic-free NC and be able to inherit it almost, or I will take it on to the next level of college and university, but change the name. And so we actually have been preparing for the next stage. We've been making templates of plastic-free NC and basically switching out NC with whatever state you are. And so if you're in South Carolina, you would have plastic-free SC, and it'd be a template on how you can start your own umbrella organization, how you can have your own impact, and you could go from there. That's one sustainability plan. But for my specific in North Carolina plastic-free NC, it will be passed on to one of the youth leaders, or it will be carried on with me to my college university level, or even both. Sanak, do you want to talk about your future plans? I know you're still a sophomore, so you might not be thinking about that too much. But
Yeah, so I don't really have any like sustaining like thoughts right now, but to like expand my initiative, our goal is to reach out to other communities, not only Greenville, North Carolina, but like the Washington, going to the coast and just filming trash there. But also our main goal right now is to raise awareness about our app because we really like strongly agree that it's like a really good opportunity for us to clean trash and get our communities involved. But that's like our main goals right now, me and Gian. So yeah. Mhm.
oh, and I also want to emphasize that um I don't know if you were asking about sustainability plan or like what are our future goals for the year, but Sanuk and I are actually having a future plan of recruiting about 30 new members into both our initiatives. That's kind of the big goal, and we are hoping to spread this project and idea on a nationwide level. All right, so what are some, oh, and lots of life skills are a result of taking action. Practice is so important. Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely agree that that's perfectly said. Practice is definitely one of the greatest things that could come from you. It's something that you can do and you can do it anywhere you want. So what are alternatives that you offered other stores, restaurants, or companies that could replace plastic products such as plastic bags? That's a really good question. We were actually asked that question the very first time that I went to one of the restaurants and businesses. So plastic bags can be replaced with reusable bags, shopping bags, or even a lot of the times you don't even need like a plastic bag to carry one thing. Like some people go to the store, buy a gallon of milk, and they take like 3 plastic bags because they're afraid of the milk leaking. You don't need that. Like that's unnecessary. We talked about that to them. They put a limit on like a lot of the times with self-serve, people may be taking a lot of plastic bags, but one of the stores that we went to that were local offered us that they could put a limit and their cashiers would actually put out a certain amount of plastic bags that a customer could use. And they offered like Lidl and Aldi offer 10-cent bags here where we live. And it's a reusable bag. You're able to use it all the time. And if you don't have a reusable bag, they offer it at their checkout line. For straws, restaurants and businesses, if you've noticed when you go to a restaurant, they automatically hand you the straw. They don't ask, would you like a straw? They don't ask if you need it. They just automatically hand you it because that's what they've been taught. That's what servers have been taught. And that's common in our modern day. And we went to these restaurants and businesses and we began asking them, could you ask the um, customers if they need or even want one first before you automatically hand them out. So that reduced it. And then we switched over to paper straws. Paper straws biodegrade a lot easier than plastic straws. They're a very eco-friendly way that alternative that we could use. And also bamboo is a very, very cool and innovative alternative than plastic. They biodegrade a lot easier and they're from the earth. They're what the earth has given us. Can you share your app with us? Didn't see it on the image. Yeah, of course. Actually, Bella, could you? Oh, there you go. There's also a QR code. If you want to pull out your phone and or even screenshot it, you can scan the QR code with your camera and it'll take you directly to the app. Also, Sunny has put it into the chat. Sanuk, if you want to kind of actually let me answer this one question and then if we have enough time, Bella, do you think we could walk through the app very briefly for like 5 minutes with the audience? Okay, cool. So Abby asked, how could we join in with y'all to help where we live? So as Sunny mentioned before, we'll provide our Instagram, our messages, our emails. Just email us. And that question has a lot to unpack. It's very specific to you personally. And so reach out to us, any handles, any social media, any email. We'll respond. We'll set up a Zoom meeting with you and we'll help guide you through your journey. How's that sound, Abby? All right. Sounds good. Sunny, do you want to walk through the app with them?
Yeah, for sure. So first, obviously, you can see those red points, and those red points are actually the trash spots that people have posted on our app. And right now, it's kind of limited to Greenville only, but we would like to expand that. So if you actually, yeah, you can click on any one of those red dots, and then they should say, it's gonna have like a description, what type of trash it is, who did it, and like a picture of it. And then so yeah, and then the way you actually submit pictures and descriptions is there's like a little left arrow tab on the left of your screen. Yeah, if you go there, then it's basically where you fill out the form, you enter the picture, you can say what type of trash it is, how long it takes to clean it up, your username, if it's been cleaned or it has to be cleaned. And basically that's how our app works. You just go to it, you submit a picture about the trash spot you've found, and then it just goes directly into our map. So whenever you're in the area, you can just click on one of those points, go to those trash spots, and then clean it up if you want, or you can, advocate and like tell other people to do it too. Yeah.
So that looks like those are all the questions in our chat. I want to thank everyone for joining in and giving us your time to listen. Sanuk, if you want to go ahead and put your social media, email, and everything while we talk, or while I finish up a bit. I just want to thank everyone. And Sanuk and I were talking about this yesterday. And the one thing that we want you to take away, if anything in this conversation you didn't take away anything at all, the one single thing is that action starts with you. You are the impact. We are the next generation of leaders, and we are the people who will be inheriting this earth once others pass. And so it's time to take action. It's important that we recognize what we can do, and we recognize that there is strength in unity, there is strength in collaboratism, and there is strength in leadership. So thank you, everyone. If there's no further questions, I'm going to hand it back to Bella. Thank you.
Thank you.